What's going on? What's going on? Welcome in. Welcome on into the 411 podcast. It's Transformational Tuesday. Welcome on in. May 6th. This is the second night. I got to get myself back in the flow of things. I've taken too much time off. But I'm here. Thank you so much to everybody who has showed up. Last night was great. I saw SOS out there. I want to give a very special thank you to my niece Okita for holding me down, and also Facebook. Y'all were really on point last night. I think 150, close to almost 170 views within less than 24 hours. So thank you so much to everyone out there on Facebook. And we got some great things coming, which I'll announce towards the end of the show. But thank you so much. Before we go ahead and get started, you know that I have to give a very special thank you to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this will be possible. And without each and every one of you out there checking me out, liking, subscribing, supporting, for all of these years, I wouldn't be here as well either. So thank you so much to everybody out there. Give yourself a round of applause, a pat on the back, whatever you have to do, because your love over the years has made this show evolve to what it is today. And I'm so thankful and I'm so proud of each and every one of you, my special guests who come on from time to time, as you continue to come in to the mentorship series of the 411 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. You're going to hear from some amazing guests, amazing students, and you're just going to learn. We all going to learn together. Like I said last night, we're going to learn together. And so welcome on in. So we're going to go ahead and do a little recap of last night's show, which was pretty heavy when we talk about the weight of the mind. That's what we were speaking about last night. So a little recap for those of you who are just joining tonight. Maybe this is the first time that you've heard about it. You might want to go ahead and watch that replay from last night. But the weight of the mind, when I think about the weight of the mind, I think of myself as a child. I think of when I heard things such as the mind is a terrible thing to waste. I remember these commercials when they were trying to stop us from getting on drugs. They would be like an egg and there would be a frying pan, and they would say that this is your brain and this is your brain on drugs, and they would crack the egg and it would be frying in a frying pan. All of those types of things we heard as a kid. And it's interesting how when you grow up, no one no longer speaks about mental health. No one speaks no more about how your mind is so powerful. No one speaks about how you are powerful in general. It's all about entering the matrix, entering into the rat race, and getting on that hamster wheel. And we just keep spinning and spinning and spinning until we spin out of control. And during that process, somewhere along the way, we forget who we are and we don't know who we are. And this is what I call getting tricked up, getting wrapped up, getting trapped up into the matrix, not understanding and knowing who we are. And the weight of the mind becomes heavy. And the song of the day last night was from Montel Jordan, Tricks on My Mind. And what I discussed last night is the only person who can play tricks on your mind is yourself. So I want you to think about this one little phrase that I have to say that I learned from my Buddhist mentor. Everything starts with self. The beginning to end, everything starts with self. So before we can say that this person did something to me, before we can say that that person did something to me, we have to go back to that phrase, everything starts with self. No one can do anything to you unless you allow them to. So if you allow someone to enter into your personal space, if you allow someone to enter into your sacred space, and then they're allowed to get that close to the point where they are able to play tricks on your mind, the person who gave them access, the person who gave them the keys is yourself. Everything starts with self. No one in this world can do anything to you unless you allow them to do so. So be very careful with who you allow to enter into your mental space. Last night I also briefly talked because that's what wasn't really what the show was about last night, but I touched base on it a little bit when it comes to when you get into these relationships. When you get into these romantic relationships, I should have done some more research on this, but I'll do my research and bring it back to you at a future show. But when you get into these relationships, there is something that goes on in the brain, whether it's that dopamine, whether that's that serotonin. Again, I'm going to do my proper research and have the technical terms when I bring it back. But within the first 2 years, you're pretty much mentally high because of your relationship, this new relationship. The person is hot, sexy, this, that, the next, the other, whatever it is, you are mentally high. So within those first 2 years, I caution you all to not do anything drastic, such as moving in with someone, such as getting pregnant, such as committing to something, leasing a car, co-signing, whatever the case may be. We do some silly things within those first 2 years because we're mentally high off of that love hormone, that love bug that hits us. But then after about the 2 year mark, things start to fade. You're probably going to find out that that person is really not who they are within the first 3 months. But anyway, when you're doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, sometimes your mind could get a little clouded and the waters can become a little murky. But usually after about that 2 year mark, you really start to see who that person really is. But meanwhile, they showed you about 3 months into it, somewhere in between the first time that you met them up until 3 months, but we weren't really paying attention because there was a lot of bedroom action going on. So be very careful that I spoke to you about that. So that's when it comes to letting people get so close to you and get into your mental space. If you're not paying attention, they're able to play tricks on your mind, but you allow them to. So everything starts with self. So be very careful because we can walk around and say, oh, I can't eat, I can't sleep, I can't do this, I can't do that. I got so much stress, I got so much anxiety. But the person who caused that is you. Just think about that. I know people who are hearing, whether you stop by for the first time or you might be going through something, you might just stepped out of something, you might have not had that come to Jesus meeting with self. You might not like what I'm saying. It might not resonate with you tonight. It might sound foreign, but as you go on your journey, as you learn and you heal and you grow, this will all start to click. But again, for me, it was foreign too. And so I get it. I understand. I also want to leave you with this here. And this might be going off a little topic, but it was very important. And I wanted to make sure that I bring this tonight because this has happened to me so many times. All right, I said about being careful with people who come into your mental space, people who come into your sacred place, people who get so close to you. Remember, everything that we deal with, every person, every interaction, this is a lesson. So that person that you are interacting with, you are either supposed to teach them something or they're supposed to teach you. Remember, we are all teachers in this game. We're all students in this game. This is the game of life. And if you don't know how to play this game properly, you are going to have to do it again. And every single lesson, you have to do it again. And you have to continuously repeat it until you get this thing right. So we understand that. So as we interact and we meet these people, we get into these relationships, we get into these friendships, we get into these situationships. Just remember that our minds will get us into something. Our hearts will get us into something. But be very careful when people say follow your heart, because your mind is the most powerful thing on your body, but your heart is the most wicked. I'll say that again. Your mind is the most powerful thing on your body, but did I say that right? Your mind is the most powerful thing on your body, but your heart is the most wicked. Excuse me, had a lot of caffeine today. Keeping it real. So be very cautious when someone says, follow your heart. You know what I have to say when people say follow your heart? I have to take a sip on this. For those of you who've been following me for a while, rocking with me, rolling with me for a while, you know exactly what I mean. What I have to say when people say follow your heart, if you ever have anybody tell you follow your heart, because I know that that's that old saying that's been lingering out there, run. Run like hell if anybody ever tells you, oh, follow your heart. Your heart will get you into some nonsense. I ain't gonna take it there. I ain't gonna cuss tonight. This podcast has been restricted on certain platforms because of the adult disclaimers that I put out there. So I'm trying to clean things up a bit. Run. Your mind will get you into some situations. Your heart will also get you into some situations. One is going to get you into something that's going to lead you into the right direction, and one will lead you into the wrong direction, which is also connected to some of these emotional decisions that we make. So go ahead and watch that replay from last night when we talked about the weight of the mind. Our minds are so powerful. They're like computer systems, and whatever you put in is what you get out. And a lot of us, what we're putting out in a universe is nonsense, drama, because of what we're putting in, what we're consuming. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on from that. We're at a point now in our lives where you get the opportunity to write your own story. If anybody didn't tell you that, if we forgot along the way because of the matrix, because we were stuck on a hamster wheel, whatever the case may be, we have the power to write our own story. Now, the question for each and every one of you out there is, are you going to write poison, or are you going to write your medicine? Are you going to write that poison, or are you going to go ahead and write your medicine? Because we all have that power. We forgot. Life got in the way. People got in the way. Things got in the way. Places got in the way. We got in the way of our own selves. Experience is a good teacher. It takes someone like me to know. Shout out to Miss Mickey Howard. That's going to be the theme this week. Experience is a good teacher. And it takes someone like me to know. If you've been through some stuff and you've been through it and you know and you don't want to do it again, that's what I'm talking about. It takes someone like me to know, listen, we've been here before. Just like my girl Mary J. Blige off of the Good Morning Gorgeous album, Love Without a Heartbreak. I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. So I understand the game today. I understand the BS today. I understand the okie doke. And I never claimed to be a genius, but this thing right here, yeah, I lived long enough to see this. I understand this. This looks too familiar about my past. It looks too familiar about the places that I've been before. So since I know better, I do better. So when I see that coming, now I'm able to make better decisions. That's when your mind is in check. But when that heart starts to overpower that mind, now you got yourself into a situation. Now you let yourself become vulnerable to get into more situations and more issues. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the song of the day tonight. Here we are, episode 8, health versus wealth. So we're going to talk about health versus wealth tonight. And what a great song of the day. Miss Fantasia. Song is called Free Yourself. And that's off of the self-titled album, Free Yourself, released in 2000, I believe it was 2004. Yes, 2004. And I also saw something today that Fantasia said that she is ready to release a gospel album. Shout out to Fantasia. And when I do these song of the days, I remix it and I make it work for, what we got going on here. So when you hear some of these song titles and these themes, if you aren't tuned in and zoned into the show, it may not make sense, but I like to remix it up. So health versus wealth. Tonight we speaking about freeing yourself. So as we on this whole mental journey during Mental Health Awareness Month in May, how about we free ourselves? How about we free ourselves from the nonsense and the drama that we've signed up for? Because, like I said in the beginning, everything starts with self. Shout out to my mentor. I had a conversation with her today, and we were speaking about some of these same themes, but everything starts with self. So if we know that everything starts with self, we have the power to free ourselves from some of the things that we signed up for that we really didn't mean to, for some of the nonsense that we got ourselves into that we really didn't mean to, these relationships that we got ourselves in that we didn't really mean to. So now you have the opportunity to free yourself. And the reason why you have the opportunity to free yourself is because no one else will. It's okay. Everybody else is okay with it. Everybody else is okay with you, signing up, spending your money, spending your resources, spending your time, spending your mental on them. What do they care for? They just along for the ride, especially if it's someone who doesn't care about you, especially somebody who is, going along with the plan just to get along, getting them where they fit in, doing them. While they doing them, you ain't doing you. So tonight we're going to speak about freeing ourselves from all of these chains, all of this bondage, all of this nonsense, all of this stuff that we thought that we needed. We thought that we needed to have that. We needed to go there. We needed to be this. We needed to do that. Song of the day, Free Yourself. Miss Fantasia, released in 2004 off of her album, Free Yourself. It was her debut album, Free Yourself. Episode 8, Health versus Wealth, Transformational Tuesday. Now, if you could please do me a favor before we go ahead and get into the real deal here tonight. Thank you so much to everybody out there who's watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, text a friend. Do whatever you need to do to let them know what we have going on here tonight. I always say that it doesn't matter how many people are out there watching, how many people watch the replay, how many people come in for a minute, leave, bounce back, whatever. It's okay. I don't get focused on the numbers. One thing that I like to get zoned in and focused on is when it's just that one person. During my journey, as I started this in 2020, there were times where there was nobody out there watching and listening. But it's when it's that one person that texts me, that one person that DMs, that one person that shoots a comment out there that says, thank you so much, this resonated with me. One person. That's all we're here to do tonight. Now, if we get more, great. But if it's that one person that we can break, that they help them have a breakthrough, then that's all that matters. And I will tell you that 9 out of 10 times, there's always some mystical thing that happens throughout the 411 podcast and reading between the lines. And that's exactly why I'm here, still doing it here today. Because let me tell you that this has been a journey and it has not always been in my favor. There were some ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and there were times where I said, absolutely not, I don't think I'm doing this again. And every time I was ready to go ahead and throw the towel in, there would be those breakthrough moments. There would be those aha moments. There would be that one person. In fact, actually, there was one person who actually came out on YouTube one time, and it actually helped save my life because I was going through some tough situations. I was going through some things that I probably can't speak about here. And this person was connected to my past, and they actually reached out to me here on the show and helped move things in my direction, in my favor. So I'm here. We up, and we're gonna continue to do this, and just that one person. So tonight we are going to Houston, Texas. Shout out to Texas. We're gonna help Mr. Marcus out here tonight. 29-year-old personal trainer, and this story resonates so deeply with me because I was in retail for over 25 years in one location. 25 years, one company, 25 years. And then I spent 3 years in another company. So I want you to do the math. And then after that, I spent about 2 years in another company, but 25 years in one company. I started that company directly out of high school, and I got promoted, and I started as a cashier, making like $5 and 25, maybe $6. Let's just round it up to $6 at that time, and worked myself all the way up to a store manager, trainer. Started flying, all over the country, helping them open up stores and things like that. Gave me a bunch of responsibility and teaching, training people, all of those things. I shared that story last night. So this story here with Marcus hits home because you got to be very careful, because you can become brainwashed by your environment, the people who you are around, some of the companies that we decided to sign up for, and we thought that it was our company. We thought that it was our mission. We thought it was our plan. Here we are making somebody else wealthy. Here we are making somebody else successful, but we haven't tapped in and done anything for ourselves. And some of these big corporations, I told myself that I'm going to write a book one day about this, about what goes on in corporate America, because Lord knows I've seen enough throughout 25 years. I have enough content that I'll be able to probably have a bestseller one day when I link up with the right person. Can't tell you how many relationships, behind the scenes things that are just despicable that goes on in corporate America. Let's just keep it real. And I'm thankful that I'm not in it. But these corporations, they got a lot of money. Big corporations, they got money, and they have these tactics. They got these nice videos that they would always play, and they would brainwash you. In my case, I was in pet specialty, and I remember you would have these people who would come in that knew nothing about this company for the first time. That's probably the first time that they heard it. And they would play these videos, and we would have these little meetings and conferences before we opened up a store, and they would go around and they would ask each and every individual how many pets they owned. And the person who said, I don't own any pets, they would get like the vibe would change, the room would change. People would go, oh, you don't have any pets, and give them that look. Oh, well, we got to go ahead and get you at least a goldfish. And next thing you know, this person feels a certain way because they don't own any pets. So, hell, I'm just here to make some money. I want to be a cashier, I want to be a stocker, whatever. I'm just here to make money. Like, you work at Burger King, you work at Target, you work at whatever. You're just there to make money, okay? But they trick you, brainwash you into thinking that you need to purchase all types of stuff and take on all of these things. And you're cool if you have all of these pets, and they show you videos of people who have thousands of pets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, you're wasting your paycheck week after week after week in all these pet supplies. Okay. For those of you who work in clothing stores, I'm sure they do the same thing. We'll give you these discounts. We'll do that. Did you come to work, or did you come to spend money? So I remember I got caught up in that. Next thing you know, I had hamsters, guinea pigs, dogs, cats, this, that, the next, the other. And I sit there and I remember complaining that I go to work to clean up dog poop. The hell, I don't want to come home and do it too. So, Marcus, I feel for you. We getting ready to help this personal trainer out here tonight. Marcus spends more than he earns on fitness-related costs like supplements, gear, and fancy meal plans. He's fit physically, but financially out of shape. So Marcus is a personal trainer, and he spends more than he earns on fitness-related costs like supplements, gear, and fancy meal plans. Now he's physically fit, but financially out of shape. So now I don't know the full story here because I only have a snippet of this here, but we're going to go ahead and dissect this a little bit. Anybody, let's just back this up. Anybody who spends more than they earn, it's a problem. I'm going to repeat that again. Anybody who spends more than they earn, it's a problem. Now, for me, I have lived majority of my life doing exactly that. The only thing that saved me was that I made a bunch of money out of nowhere. I think I made more money that I probably couldn't spend it all, if that makes sense. But from the first time I got a job, think about that $6 an hour, all the way up until probably when I started to get into some real high management positions to where I was making enough money that I wasn't able to spend it all. But I got very close, and there were some times where I probably did. And if I didn't have a family, it would have been 10 times worse. So I think having a family actually helped save me because I knew I had children to take care of and I couldn't be too reckless. But a lot of us do that. We spend more than what we earn. And here's my rule that I've learned. Shout out to my mentors. If you cannot buy whatever you're thinking about buying 5 times over without swiping your credit card and going into debt, borrowing money, payday loans, this, that, the next, the other, don't buy it. I'll repeat that again. That nice piece of jewelry, that nice shirt that you want, those nice jeans, those nice sneakers. If you cannot buy it 5 times over, take that price, times it times 5. If that dollar amount is not in your bank account, you should not be buying it. If you follow that program, if you get on that situation, that plan, whatever you want to call it, things will start to look up for you. Mr. Marcus, I get it. I used to work for a company that did the same thing. They make you feel a certain way. You got to have this. You got to have that. You got to buy this for your pet. You got to do that. And I know that you are a personal trainer. So my next question is, do you have your own business? Or are you working for a corporation? Or are you working for these gyms? Because I know all of these fancy meal plans and all of those things and being a personal trainer, they sort of make it seem like it's your own business. But is your name on there? Because if it's not, my next question is, are you able to use some of these supplements and gears and all of those things that you're purchasing as a tax write-off? If not, then we might need to start to second guess something. And maybe you might need to open up your own, I would say, gym or personal training business. But purchasing all of these things and spending more than what you have coming in is a problem. And again, so I'm going to take it off of Marcus and I'm going to just take it on to my old version of myself and people that I know and just society in general, how we are. Like, we want to look fly. We want to look fly. We want to put on all of the latest and greatest. We want to go to all of the nice fancy restaurants. We want to go ahead and be, putting it on a gram and everything like that and showing people what we got going on. But we are financially out of shape. Some of us continuously live paycheck to paycheck, spending more than what they have coming in. So I get it. So now, here's a question, since we're speaking about being financially out of shape, and Mr. Marcus here probably is jacked, physically fit, and got it going on the outside, but then on the inside, everything is all jacked up and messed up. So how can someone prioritize their physical health without compromising their financial well-being? I want you to think about that because it's important. It's important to eat healthy. It's important to stay active. It's important to, take care of ourselves because remember, everything starts with self. If you don't do it, nobody else ain't going to do it. If you don't encourage yourself, nobody else is going to do it. So how can someone prioritize their physical health without compromising their financial well-being? What happens in January? January 1st, Happy New Year. Everyone gives these New Year's resolutions. And probably the first 2 or 3 weeks of January, the gyms are crowded. The memberships go up. That's their thing. That's what they do. All of the commercials, everything's physical fitness and slim and trim and all of that great stuff. And then about maybe 3 weeks in, definitely going into February, and then don't let it hit to Valentine's Day because you know it's over after that. But these people don't go to the gym anymore, and they keep these memberships going because they feel great about, having a membership. Well, times that by 11. That's 11 months that you have paid for a gym membership, and that money could have been in your bank account. And a lot of people will continuously have these memberships because they think it makes them feel good. And oh, maybe tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym. Maybe next week I'm going to go to the gym, or I'll just keep it going. Some of them don't even know how much is coming out of their bank account because they just add it to the credit card and they just have a bunch of credit card debt and they have no idea what's going on. So you can be physically fit and prioritize your physical health by doing activities outside. I don't think you necessarily need a gym. Maybe you can work out at home. That's the first thing that you can do. I know I wasn't going to get a gym membership, but I love to be out in nature. I love to walk. I love to hike. And I'm not saying that that level of activity is going to be comparable to what you can get in the gym, but it's definitely a start. If you go to certain parks, they have the pull up bars where you can go ahead and do your pull ups. You can do your sit ups. There's all types of things that you can get out in nature. That's why I believe that you should be in some good environments where you can be outside. Definitely not in some cold climates. So for me personally, I strive to be in areas where I can stay active most of the year. Like right now, I'm in my element in New Jersey because it's starting to straighten up outside. But 6 months out of 12, I'm not necessarily happy about that, but I'm okay with it for right now at this moment. What else do we have out there? Anybody out there, if you know there's anything that someone can do to stay physically fit without, you know, compromising their financial stability, drop it in the comments to let me know. So, active, walking, running, jogging, hitting up some of those parks that have, the pull up bars. Here's one thing that I would have to say for Mr. Marcus and anybody else out there. Do you even know what's on your credit card bill? Do you know how many subscriptions you have? Because the gym is just one example. I was coaching someone and we went through this app. And I said, try this app. Put this app on your phone, and the app will tell you if you have any tell you how many subscriptions you have. And when you look at this app and you see how many subscriptions you have, maybe it'll tell you a story about the ones you forgot. So now there's a couple things that are wrong here. Number one, if you need an app to tell you how many subscriptions that you have, that's a problem. Because again, you don't know where your money's going. You need to know where every single dollar is going. That's number one. Number two, you're paying for it and you had no idea you were paying for it. And when you start to do the math and you times that by 12, think of how much money you will be saving. So I would have to go back to Mr. Marcus and say, do you really know exactly what you have going on? Because I'm sure you might could find some subscriptions. You could find something. You can find some sort of bill or something that's a reoccurring charge that you forgot about. See, this happens most time when people have too much going on in their world. When their environment is cluttered, their email box is cluttered, their cell phone is cluttered with messages, their mind becomes cluttered. Remember, the mind is a terrible thing to waste. So whatever you take on and whatever you put on, if you start to declutter and you start to clean things up in your environment, your finances will become clean as well. You'll start to clean up your finances as well. So that's another way that you can prioritize your health by just starting to clean up your environment, seeing how much money you can save cutting here and there. So therefore, maybe you can stick with that gym membership. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a gym membership. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have these certain apps. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have the fancy meal plans. Whatever works for you works for you. I can't tell you what works for you, and what works for me works for me. But I always tell people during my coaching sessions, if you want to know what the true story is, look at how much money you're spending on food. That might help you as well. Look at how much money you're spending on food. The first sin dealt with food. There's no coincidence here. Now, if that was the first sin that had to deal with food, lack, first of all, it was lack, and then it was food. We ate the fruit. It makes sense that when we look at our finances, when we're going through certain things, I'm telling you, I challenge each and every one of you. When you go back and you look at your finances, go back and look at your biggest expense. Your housing is going to be number one. That's a given. We all have to have some place to live. But number two on the list probably is food. Now, with that being said, do we really need to go to those certain restaurants as much as we do? Do we really need to eat and consume as much as we consume? Because that's a whole nother thing. And again, I love to eat. I will tell you, I was going through my finances last week and I was like, wow, you definitely, kicked it up a little bit when it came to, some of the places you were eating. But again, when you can dig and you can look at that, now we kick into what the next game plan is. It's one thing when you know, but then it's another when you don't know. So if anybody has any other things when it comes to what people can do to prioritize their physical health without compromising their financial well-being, drop it in the comments, let me know. But that's the first thing that comes to mind. I would say cancel the gym membership if anybody has that and you're not using it, especially if you're not going. Now, if you're using it and it makes sense, okay. But then look at your environment. Clean up your environment. If your environment is cluttered, majority of the time your finances are going to be cluttered and you're going to have something in there that you're probably paying for that you really don't need. And you have no idea and you're just paying it and you're just on this vicious wheel, this perpetual wheel going round and round and round, swiping and getting charged, automatically, and you have no idea. Clean up your environment. You'll be able to clean up your finances. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get on to this next segment, burning questions. If you would like to chime in on tonight's burning question, if you're watching this replay, you can text me at 609-200-1098. Let me know what your responses are. Also, if you have a burning question, just like we're helping Mr. Marcus out here tonight, if you have some sort of scenario, some dilemma, something that you'd like me to dissect here on the show, you can text me or you can email me, info@larengaines.com. And of course, names have been changed to protect the innocent. Things have been set up so we won't necessarily say that it's coming for you. This is just to help us, grow, and we all in this thing together. So 609-200-1098 is the official 411 podcast hotline. And again, you can DM me. You can also email me your scenarios as well. info@larengaines.com. All right. Burning question for tonight. What is one small physical change you've made that had a big impact on your overall well-being? What is one small physical change you've made that has had a big impact on your overall well-being? Again, I encourage you to answer this. And again, if you may not want to put this in the chat, this is the time for you to reflect with self. Remember, everything starts with self. So this is a good journal prompt as well. You can use these burning questions as journal prompts when you're going through your own, when you're with self, when everything starts with self, when you get with yourself and the podcast is over, take this information and use this as a great journal prompt so that you can, continue your work. What is one small physical change you've made that had a big impact on your overall well-being? So for me, I've done a couple different things, and I'm probably going to list something tonight that may not be physical, but it definitely has helped me, and I've been on my journey since 2020. But I'll save that to last. But one small physical change that I've made is that I walk. I'm not going to say every day because this weather here in Jersey has been a little iffy, but I did challenge myself in 2023 to walk every single day, regardless rain, sleet, snow, freezing weather, and I just about made it. I haven't gone one full year where I walked 365 days out of the year, and partially is because I don't have the gear um, for all different seasons. So, and then, I had a bunch of different things going on, which is neither here nor there. But that is one thing that I've done is I've increased my walking time. And when I walk for a very long time. This is not like a, 2-minute walk. I'm out there for at least an hour. And I remember when I was in France, I walked a lot. I walked a lot. And I have to get the exact mileage down, but I believe, if this is correct, and I could be wrong, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm just going to say 15 plus miles one day in France. I take this time to connect with nature. I take this time to get with self. So walking for me is more of a spiritual journey. But again, it also has helped me from a physical aspect as well. I spoke earlier about how I used to be in the fast food drive-throughs at least 3 to 4 times a day. I spent 25 years in retail, and when I started to make a significant amount of money and they had me traveling all over the place, especially when I became a district manager, it was not foreign for me to go for breakfast. First of all, I would go get Dunkin' Donuts every day. So just think about how much money I was spending in food. Dunkin' Donuts, number one. I would probably visit them at least one or twice a day. And then, of course, I had lunch at all of them. You name the fast food restaurant, I've tried it. And pretty much breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then sometimes a snack. So you got 4 times in drive-through restaurants, and it made it so easy when I became a district manager because I was already always on a road driving around somewhere like crazy. So one thing that I did during the pandemic is I stopped eating fast food. I stopped eating fast food, and once you pull away from fast food, you're not going to crave it anymore. I don't know what they put in it, but there's something in it that once you're hooked on it, you're hooked on it. And you will crave fast food versus regular food. And I remember going to doctors. I went to make sure I got this right because sometimes my words don't flow properly. An acupuncturist. There you go. I have it right. An acupuncturist because I was going through some stuff and I went to an acupuncturist to try to help me with my attitude and help me with to stop cussing people out. Let's be real. I wasn't looking at the bigger picture. I was still trying to hold on to garbage, and the garbage is what caused me to start cussing people out. So instead of just throwing the garbage out, I decided to try to keep it and go to an acupuncturist so that they can try to help me with my attitude. But like I said, when you know better, you do better. So declutter, clean up your environment, and maybe you won't experience that. So I remember her telling me they had to go through like where they check you over, they check your ears, eyes, nose, mouth, everything. And through whatever she checked, she says, I can tell that you eat a lot of fast food. And she said, you really need to stop doing this and you need to cook more at home because number one, it's healthier for you. Number two, it tastes better than what you're getting anyway. And we have no idea that it tastes better because we're so hooked to whatever they have, whatever chemicals and stuff that they have going on. So Walking is what I've done. I stopped eating fast food. And a big game changer for me was I stopped eating meat. So I stopped eating meat in 2020. And I did that for me because I've always been that type of person who wanted to be a vegetarian. I'm a pescatarian today, but I've always have been this person. And every time I got into a relationship, every time I got wrapped up and trapped up with somebody, I started eating meat because they were. Because I didn't know who I was. And I was just following along with the plan, doing whatever somebody else was doing so that they would like me, so that they would think that I'm this, so that they would think that I'm that. Deep down inside, that's not what I wanted to sign up for. And wonder why I'm miserable, wonder why I'm cussing people out, wonder why I'm angry, because here I am compromising my values for just to be with you. And then remember I said after the 2 year mark, but usually you find out between the first time that you met them until the first 3 months, they're going to sing you a lullaby. But if you too busy looking at, what you shouldn't be looking at and too busy doing what you shouldn't be doing, you're going to miss the opportunity of them telling you exactly who they are. So that's the first thing I did. I said, okay, so now that we made this decision that we're going to be single for a minute, we're going to get back to with self and we're going to understand and know who we are. First thing you're going to do is you're going to stop eating meat because you didn't want to do that anyway. You were just doing that to get along with the get along. And despite the pressure, family looked at me like I was crazy. Really? You don't want to eat meat? Really? You giving this up? Yeah, I've given this up. I have no problem with it. And here I am 5 years later doing so well. And when I go for my checkups from a doctor, it's amazing. So, not saying that, you should run out there and do that. But if you've been questioning it and thinking about it, maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know what, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I know what worked best for me. And I was probably, okay, I typically weigh about 140, 145 pounds. That's good weight for me. I was close to 165 pounds when I was eating all that fast food and not being active. I shed it immediately and dropped back down to about 145 pounds. That's what I did. So I would say maybe it wasn't physical, but I did make some decisions that impacted, my physical health. So yeah, just putting it out there. And, as we go through this and we start speaking about, some of the health benefits, because I do a lot of research now as far as what's good for you and what's not good for you. But I'll definitely tell you this fast food definitely isn't. And I've watched some of these videos on TikTok and, I know people say things about TikTok, but I've watched some of these videos about what happens with the burgers and the fries when they put them in these chemicals so that they can test it, and it doesn't pan out well because whatever's happening inside that chemical pretty much is happening inside your stomach. So, yeah. Not saying that I don't eat fast food, but I definitely don't eat it as much as I've done. And I went at least a whole full year, that I will tell you, one full year without fast food because I just got so sick of it because I was eating it, at least 4 times a day. So there you go. Burning question for tonight. What is one small physical change that you've made that's had a big impact on your overall well-being? You can text me at 609 200 1098 if you want to go ahead and respond. And I want to say thank you very much to everyone who has been out there listening tonight. Thank you for coming into Transformational Tuesdays here on the 411 podcast. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share, tag a friend. Let them know what we have going on here. I would love to hear your response for tonight's burning question. You can also DM me on any of my social media platforms. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. Now I'm going to pause here because I know I said I was going to bring something towards the end of the show. I'm not going to name the platform, but there's one platform that banned some of the previous shows. They didn't ban it. They basically hid it so that you would have to sign up Before, you can watch on this platform and you didn't need to sign in and become a member. And recently, they had it set up to where you had to actually sign up in order to view the video. So it wasn't restricted due to adult content. So I explained to them that, even though these videos are listed for, mature audiences, I don't think like a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old is going to be discussing the things that we discuss here. So when they ask me, anyone under 18, I typically say no, because I don't think that they're going to come in. Maybe they are. I have no idea. I don't know who watches. But these are some pretty mature topics that we discuss. And I just didn't think that someone 16, 15, especially 13, will be interested in the topics. So because the videos were classified as for 18 and above, they marked it as we're having some really, mature X-rated type conversations in this podcast, and that is absolutely not it. So I had to go back and forth and have the conversation and say, 16-year-old is not discussing, family adult issues like this, so that's why. So put it out there that I believe that tables will be turned and videos will become public again without needing to sign in. There's too many apps. You got to sign in and download this and download that. So many people want me to sign up and bring the podcast on their platforms, and I don't have time for that. We got enough right here. Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, T-Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. We're not doing any of that extra stuff right now, not at this point. You can also listen to the podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audacity. There's so many different platforms out there. The audio version, everything is coming out so nice and more than what I imagined it. So just thank you so much for rocking. Thank you so much for checking me out. Thank you so much for supporting. We are growing and we're getting ready to break so many different barriers. You have no idea. I have no idea, but I'm just ready for it because I think we're positioned properly for some great, amazing things. You can also head on over to LarenGaines.com and sign up for my free monthly newsletter, Whispers of Wisdom. Free educational encouragement, inspiration delivered to your inbox once a month. Head on over to LarenGaines.com and go ahead and sign up for that. And also, if there's anything that I sparked in you tonight, and just one person, that's my goal, to just connect with one person. If there's anything that sparked in you, if you would like to learn more, you can go ahead and head over to LarenGaines.com. You can also text me at 609-200-1098. You can email me, info@LarenGaines.com. Do whatever you need to do to reach out. But you can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation. If you are truly interested in this debt-free living thing that I've been speaking about, if you're interested in getting your life together, if you're interested in getting your finances together, reach out to me. We can have a free 15-minute consultation. I do have to apologize. I really have to back down on the coffee that I have been consuming. That's not good when you are going to be broadcasting to be so amped up. I was so amped up last night. It was just too much for me. So I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep tonight because I typically, after I get off of this show, I'm so amped up and it takes a minute for me to calm down. But head on over and you can get this free 15-minute consultation. And we'll be able to discuss and have some good quality time where we can see if you're a good fit. Apply to see if you qualify. And when I say apply to see if you qualify, this program is not for everybody. And I am not in no get rich quick scheme. I'm not here to sell somebody a dream. I personally do not want you to sign up if you're not serious about this, because it would be a waste of your time and a waste of my time. And I know that at the end of the day, time is more valuable than money. So I don't want your money if it's going to waste my time, because my time is more valuable than any money. So me sitting there coaching and going back and forth with somebody who's not serious about it, who's not going to stick with it, who's going to drop out, when, things get too tough and things get too heavy and they don't want to face the fact that they are in an overly consuming environment an overly consuming mentality, and they're not really done with, the credit cards, or they're not really done with buy now, pay now, whatever you call it. If they're not really done with shopping on Amazon Prime, they're not really done with hitting up all of the restaurants and the fast food, then don't even waste my time. Don't even waste your time, because that's all that it would be. But if you have hit rock bottom, if you are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you can't stand the thought of the version of your old self, like I can't stand the version of my old self, can't stand it. And for those of you who didn't like me back then, guess what? I don't like that version either. So we both on the same team. That's the person who's going to succeed from that. That's the person who's going to get that breakthrough moment. When you say, there has got to be more to life than this. Shout out to Mary J. Blige. There has got to be more to life than this. Head on over. LarenGaines.com. Sign up for that free 15-minute consultation for Black Diamond Consultations, that free 15-minute consultation, and we can go ahead and hopefully make some breakthroughs here. I'm going to go ahead and check out this comment here before we go ahead and get out of here. Never mind. You can go ahead and keep your spam. We're not going to deal with that. I also used to get a little concerned when it comes to spam, but sometimes when you get a lot of spam messages and things like that, that means that you're hitting different heights too. So it's all good. Shout out to the spammers too. We need you to make us go around. Thank you so much. Now, tomorrow, Wind Down Wednesday. Got something special for you tomorrow. We have author Birdman 313 coming in. He's been a friend of the show. He's been on last couple months ago, March. He was on as a special guest as well. So go ahead and watch that replay. This is going to be his fourth time coming on. He has signed up to be a reoccurring guest. He is part of the Mentorship series as well. So you'll get to talk to Birdman. A lot of you can ask him questions and speak to him directly, as he's going to be on as a guest, reoccurring week after week after week right here. So I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about the guests that are going to come in and be reoccurring. So that every Wednesday, same place, same time, you can listen to me and Birdman chop it up and go back and forth. Same time, Thursday, week after week after week, you get to hear me and SOS go back and forth. So that's what this is about, and it's about this community building effect that is getting ready to just go to new heights. So tomorrow, author Birdman 313, Wind Down Wednesday. I got some wine to be sampling tomorrow. I have a book review tomorrow, which I'm going to, drop some gems. Same thing. We've been speaking about this debt-free living program. So you're going to get some great information tomorrow. So you don't want to miss it. Same place, same time. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much to everybody out there who has been checking us out, listening, rock and rolling with us. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend. Thank you so much. I will see you when I see you. You have a wonderful evening. Good night, y'all.